Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, fellow strudels. And before we get into today's video, I just want to go ahead and get my quick disclaimers out of the way. But in addition to that, excuse me for a second, I just want to go ahead and just say this right now. I understand that because of the subject matter I'm about to discuss in regards to the next installment within the series, as you guys have seemed to enjoy, I recognize that what I'm about to speak upon is going to be possibly very triggering for some individuals. And I just want to go ahead and state this right now before I go any further into this video. First and foremost, the intention with this video is not to, by any means, make anyone uncomfortable, to be disrespectful, to be rude, to be crude, or to be disingenuous with anyone's lived experiences in relevance to this subject matter. And again, if you find anything that I state within the beginning and to the end of this video, please recognize that my intention is not to harm people. My intention is not to be disrespectful towards people. I want to have a conversation with you. I want us to have uncomfortable conversations in regards to situations that are becoming more apparent as time is progressing within our civilizations all over the world. And yes, y'all, this is a glass of water. Not a glass, but a cup of water. There's my second disclaimer I want to give. Y'all, please stay hydrated. And typically speaking, I try to range these videos to be not so long-winded, because I understand that I've stated before and I will state it again. And this is an important factor I do need y'all to consider before you go any further to this video. I understand that some of you guys do not have great attention spans and you know who you are. So I want to give y'all the window of opportunity to do yourself a favor. If you do not like me going too long-winded in thought, and you feel as if I do not get to the point of the subject matter I am trying to discuss, I implore you, I encourage you, click off this video right now, because it's most likely going to be 20-something minutes long. So y'all, please, if this is a format that you don't fuck with, please exit stage left as I point to my left. Okay? It's that simple, ladies and gentlemen. But those rules. Now, the third disclosure, y'all. My third one, I just want to make this clear that what I'm referring to is not the sum of all. I'm referring to a specific cast of individuals within the subject matter. So you know who you are if you're watching this, and you know who I'm speaking about if you pay attention to what I'm saying. With all that being said, again, I do not want my words to be misconstrued or taken out of context. So if I do feel in the midst of my discussion that I have to pause for a moment to reevaluate what I've stated, and I have to go another angle so people can understand and take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, then I will do so. Again, if you do not fuck with this, you will have been warned. Click off the video right now. All right, I'm gonna count it down for you. We're gonna count down to 10, and then we're gonna get into, okay? So watch my hands, right? Got 10 fingers, I'm gonna count down for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right? Everyone who got fuck with this video, y'all gone? Perfect. For those who rock with this video, thank you very much. And with no further ahead, let's get into this. And the question I have to post for you guys is this. Are trans women sus? And I have to say that the ones that I'm referring to within this video, I want to make an outline so we understand what trans women am I speaking to. Okay? I'm not, regarding to this video, I'm not speaking to trans women that have gone through this transition from the whole 9 yards and have committed to that lifestyle from top to bottom. And for those who are curious as to what do I specifically mean when I say from the whole 9 fields, I'm speaking from head to toe. If you have done the necessary changes upon yourself to make that full transition into your physical presence as a woman, or to say make your physical presence fully representative of your feminine nature, kudos to you. And let me make something very clear what I mean by that. I mean from the top of your head all the way to your tippy toes. And yes, I'm referring to down here. Because if you have not gone all the way in transition, and for some of you hard-headed motherfuckers don't know what I'm talking about, yes, I mean, if you have snipped the balls and dissect the penis within your transition, to me, you pussy out. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. You pussy out. You didn't commit all the way. And I know someone's gonna take it out of context. And you know what? Again, I'm explaining what I mean by that. Again, to me, I'm a man. I'm a heterosexual man. I'm a cisgender man. I recognize that my lived experiences at the end of the day is never going to be reflective of a woman's, regardless of my physical presence. But here's the thing. My physical presence does play a part into that. Because here's the thing. At the end of the day, for any trans women, the thing is this. If you have committed your transition well after your 18th birthday, my thing is this. At the end of the day, yes, after that, you can take the hormones, you can do the surgeries, you can do all that. But at the end of the day, you can never take away those 18 years of life that you lived at the end of the day as a man. That's never going to be taken away. And granted, some of y'all may say, well, I didn't live like the typical man. I didn't have the typical upbringing. And granted, if that was the case, great. But that still does not erase puberty. That does not erase your biological clock. That does not erase biology in general. It doesn't erase that. Period. And again, I understand. If you've heard that argument before, I understand how frustrating it can be. And I understand how sometimes there are people, genuine people, who could be disinterested. Excuse me, not disinterested necessarily, but discredit, again, your personal lived experiences because they can be different from mine. And that's true. Now, here's the thing. To answer the question, so I won't go too far into this, I would say yes. Transgender women within a certain caste are sus. And these are the two that I'm talking about. Those who want to neglect the essential role of biology that works within us, and to the ones who are dishonest with themselves. And thus be dishonest to themselves, they're dishonest to those around them. Now, let me start with the dishonesty first, because that one should be simple enough to divulge into. Here's the thing. Let's take the dating market, for example. Perfect example. And I think that's the most common one most people think about as an example. And referring to just the subject of trying to be honest with oneself and being honest with those around them. Because here's the thing. And I'm going to share with you guys a particular thought I've been having for the past few years. Because the more that I see the discussion of, say for heterosexual men, if you lay down with a trans woman, are you still heterosexual or are you something else? And this is something that I personally have been pondering in my mind for a long time. Because here's the thing. Is it possible that I might engage with a young lady that, piques my interest? And somewhere down the road, as I'm, let's say, courting her for the sake of this conversation, if I'm courting her, then, is it possible that, there might be something in the background I don't know? And let's say, again, hypothetically speaking, if I get to a point with her where, let's say I want to take things serious and I want to move things to the bedroom, and she stops me and she says, well, Nelson, before we go there, I do like you and I see you like me. And I do want to take things further. But there's something I have to tell you, because I understand that some people are not going to rock with this. And I don't want you to feel as if I was dishonest with you and I led you astray. That I wasn't always this version of myself. And I would be like, okay, what do you mean? And then she refers to say, well, yes, my name is Chelsea, but some time ago I used to go as Charlie. And thus she breaks down to me, okay, her whole journey and her transition. Now here's the thing. At that point in time for me to be serious and me trying to, well, let's not say try, but me getting in the headspace of saying this is someone I would lay down with, a woman I would lay down with, it would take in consideration this. Because as far as I'm concerned, if I'm looking towards a young lady and I want to see you in the long term, and in terms of our relationship, my thing is this. I know for me, I have a desire to want to have a family. I want to raise children. But here's my thing though, is I could be a friend to you, but going as a romantic partner to me tells me that we would both want to have a bigger family. But then this is the thing. For me personally, y'all, and I'm just telling y'all the truth of the matter, I want to make sure that when my children, again, even if those children are of my blood, even be through adoption, be through whatever manner, you know, legally speaking, y'all, don't get it twisted. I ain't gonna say I'm gonna be kidnap kids or whatnot. I ain't doing all that shit. All right? I'm gonna state that. But through the legal channels and whatnot, we had children. The thing is this. I want my children to have a man in their lives. And if I call myself working day in and day out to be the man that I want my children to have in their lives, then I would expect the same thing out of their mother. But here's the thing. If it's with a trans woman, the thing is, yes, you can be as feminine as possible, as humanly possible, and you can articulate that in the best of your abilities. But at the end of the day, if we're raising a daughter, let's take that in consideration. If we're raising a daughter, the reality is this. You are not going to have the same lived experiences, biologically speaking. Let's touch on that first. Biologically speaking, socially speaking, economically speaking, and emotionally speaking. You're not going to have those experiences to help her grow. Because here's the thing. Again, y'all, I'm a man. She's a young lady. As she's going through maturity, or excuse me, having to improve her maturity in so many different aspects of herself, the thing is, I want to make sure that she has a mother. Now, don't get twisted, y'all. I have a sister and I have cousins and whatnot that I would definitely feel comfortable with my daughter, you know, talking and discussing with them about, you know, the matters of, you know, being a lady and what have you. But I would definitely want to make sure that my wife, her mother, is the first person she's going to go to. Okay? As far as I'm personally concerned. So the thing is this, I have to also consider this, y'all. If I am the father, then I have to show the best of myself for my children. But then, if I cannot have that for their mother, if I cannot position them to have a mother like that, to me, that's not being honest with my children. That's being disservice to my children, personally to me. Now, for some of y'all going to take what I said, and y'all gonna, some of y'all may take what I said and think to yourselves, oh, so you saying trans mothers can't be, oh, trans women can't be mothers? Can't be, no. I'm not saying trans women cannot be mothers or cannot fulfill a guardian role. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying for me personally, for the ideal mother that I want my children to have, I want to make sure that she is a woman from beginning, from her cradle, all the way to her grave. That's the woman I want for my children. And so, with that being said, to me, personally, a trans woman, regardless if I find her attractive or not, I cannot see past long-term in the romantic sense. It won't work. And that's that honesty that, again, if we're too afraid to admit or at least be vocalized respectfully, then to me, we get caught up in this delusion. For instance, if you don't want to be honest about your transition, if you don't want to be honest about you doing that work, getting through the hormones and whatnot, and you want to be in the dating game, and I respectfully understand. Hey, some of y'all who are honest, respect to you. Some of y'all might not fortunately have like the second date. Some of y'all may not gone on the third date. Some of y'all may not even gone to first base, second base, all the bases. I respectfully understand that every day you want to have someone in life that you could love and they can love you back. And hopefully they accept you for who you are, right? But for those who want to be dishonest, the thing is this. And again, if you're new to this channel, I'm going to say something I've said since the beginning of this channel. My first video, you can go all the way back to it. That y'all, I'm an advocate against foolishness. To me, there's a certain level of dishonesty that I think reasonably people 9 times out of 10 can justify and to an extent can acknowledge and let it go. But there's also a layer of dishonesty that's not tolerable, that can possibly get people killed. And for me personally, I don't want people losing their lives over foolishness. I don't want that. So the thing is this for my trans women. I understand that the dating pool may be very limiting for you guys if you are honest about yourselves. And I understand you may put yourselves in danger depending on where you are. I recognize that and I empathize with you on that. But at the same time, I wouldn't want you to be caught up with someone who possibly may take your life if you fuck around and you didn't tell them the truth. Especially if it gets to a point where you lay down with them. Because at that point, there's no coming back from that. You can't undo the act. You can't. To me, and this is the thing too, because I think it's important to be said that I want to make something very clear. I'm not saying tolerate the violence that goes towards trans women. I'm by no means saying, please y'all, I'm not saying do not tolerate that shit. I'm saying let's make sure we have understanding why that violence is there in the first place. How many different layers we're looking at that violence and why it escalates in ways we can de-escalate it. That is what I would end on that point. Now let me get on to my second one about the biology aspect. Because here's the thing. Let's take sports for example, right? And I know that's going to be a whole big issue. But just heed what I'm saying. Because here's my thing. And like I said, y'all, I've been thinking about this for a minute. Because I'm going to be honest with y'all. Because one day, I remember a long time ago, I sat back one day and I just randomly thought to myself, you know what? If it was my choice, would I rather have a gay son, a heterosexual, or homosexual son, or would I rather have a trans daughter? Meaning, they will come out to be a boy, but somewhere down the road they want to be a man. Excuse me, y'all, a woman. And honestly, I would rather go with a gay son than a transgender, or excuse me, a trans woman or a trans daughter in that sense. And one of my reasons why I would say that, y'all, is because here's the thing. If we want to advocate for our children to have those activity sports, to have, to go for like different scholarships and whatnot in different fields. Say, again, in sports, my thing is this. I would rather my child compete with people that they can compete. They can really challenge themselves versus them getting basically an easy route through life. To me, that's unjust and that's unfair. Especially now against those who you know for a fact you have an advantage over and they have no other choice to make. Because here's the thing. When it comes to women, can women participate in the sports that is for the men section? Like, say for instance, there's a reason why we have the NBA and the WNBA. Yeah. There's a reason why we have different divisions for men and for women, so that it's fair. But here's the thing. If you're going to have trans women going into these spaces for women, again, born a woman and will die a woman, the thing is this. if they're competing against trans women, the thing is, it's not fair. Because, and think about it like this, y'all, right? I could call myself, like, say, for example, if going back to high school, I was still a big motherfucker. Just so you guys know, I'm 6'2" to 6'3", and I always say that because, you know, depending on if I'm wearing shoes or not, if you measure me or not. But the point being, y'all, is this. If my school had, like, say, a wrestling division for the school to participate in, you know, like championships or whatnot, the thing is this. If one day I decided I want to be, you know, instead of Nelson, I'm Natasha, right? If I want to be Natasha and I want to participate in that sport with the women's division, the thing is this. How many young ladies do you know that are above 6 feet? I'm not saying they don't exist, but how many would really come and really, you know, come to even measure up to me? And see, here's the thing, y'all. I'm gonna get up closer. Y'all can see that, you know, I don't necessarily have the biggest muscles, right? I got a bit of, you know, skin and flab and whatnot. But think about it like this. How many are going to be in my weight? Because back in high school, y'all, I was, back in high school, how did I weigh? I had weighed about easily close to 300 pounds. So again, what young lady do you know that is my stature that weighs that much? Think about that. There's not that many. And if they could, guess what? I still have an advantage over them physically speaking. Because again, let's say they can been working out since they were like 5 years old, right? And probably have more flexibility than I do. But guess what? When it comes to raw physical strength, even if I don't do as much of a workout as they may do, I'm still going to have an advantage because guess what? I can lose weight much easier. I can build up muscle much faster than they can. So guess what? It can be an unfair advantage, even because here's the thing, they can put as much effort as they want to. I can put damn near the littlest and I can have the benefits that can overtake them. So how fair is that to them if I can easily come in and I can just rush up all over the competition? That's not fair. And actually, the end all when I wanted to get to that point, y'all, is to say this. It's not even from the realm of it being fair that I want to focus on this, y'all. To me, it's very unsportsmanlike. Because, see, that's the thing. A little tidbit I'm going to share with y'all about high school was I used to do archery back in my senior year. And the thing is this. I wasn't the greatest. I wasn't. But I tell you, what I did always want to make sure was I was a good sport about it. So guess what? Anytime we went to, you know, anytime, y'all, we went up against another team from another school or another division or what have you, again, most of the times we wanted to win. But even when we didn't win, I've always prioritized wanting to be a good sportsman. Again, I really don't give a fuck about sports like that. I really don't. But I always strive to be a good sportsman about it, or have good sportsmanship about it. So this is my thing. Because at the end of the day, y'all, I post this question to anyone who wants to argue me. I'm being serious. Again, get at me in the comment section. Go to my Twitter. It's in the description box below. Again, come at me and let me know if you disagree with what I'm saying. Because here's the thing. I have no problem with trans women who want to play a sport. If you want to play a sport, I'm perfectly okay with that. But when it comes to competitions, when it comes to playing team sports, or when it comes to championships or whatnot, to me, that's why I feel like unless you have your own division, you should not play that. Not just from the realm of ethics, not even just in the realm of morals, but again, in the spirit of sports. Because again, if you truly care for the sport, if you are truly someone who admires the athleticism of it that's called forth, then to me, you would also recognize the importance of saying that, yes, I could participate in this sport. Yes, I could go to the championship. Yes, I could participate in these tournaments or whatnot, but out of the respect for the women, out of respect for those who came before me, I'm going to step away and allow those who should be in these things, give them the power to participate. To me, that's being respectful. And that shows your character to me. But again, I understand that, hey, take what I say with a grain of salt. And again, if anybody disagrees with what I've said before, if anyone believes that I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm talking about my asshole. By all means, please, I am open to yours criticism. I'm open to have a better understanding from your point of view. Because you know what? Guess what? At the end of the day, y'all, I'm only 27 years old. I haven't been on this earth for that long. And trust me, I will not pretend as if I'm like I'm the mightiest, the wisest individual in the world. By no means am I that person. I'm not. And I don't even want to strive to necessarily be that. At the end of the day, y'all, the purpose of this video is, again, I'm hoping that somewhere down the road, regardless if you're watching this in the present, in the past somehow, in the future somehow, I want to make sure that everyone can have the room and the space to have this discourse. Because at the end of the day, y'all, the thing is this. I want to make sure that when I leave this earth, when my generation leaves this earth, that we left something worth keeping for our children. And that inspires their generation to do the same thing for their generation, or excuse me, the next generation come after them, and after and after and after. If we're not doing that, to me, we're giving, as far as I'm concerned, y'all, and I'm gonna finish this, I'm gonna finish on this note. As far as I'm concerned, we're doing a disservice to them. To me, we're not doing right. And I'm not saying we owe anybody and everybody this and that and the third, but at the very least, what I would say is this. The one thing we should be able to owe for any and everybody is that we give them a world that they have a fair chance in. At the very least. That's me. That's how I personally am. But again, it's up to you to decide where you go from there. But all that said, ladies and gentlemen, my fellow Toastrudels, again, thank you so much for finding yourself somehow the power and the strength to make it all the way to the end if you did. If you didn't, it's okay. I don't have no hard feelings towards you. But if you did, I truly appreciate you and I love you for it. And all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, with those Toastrudels, I will catch you guys in the next video. Namaste, all that good jazz. And I'll catch y'all next time. Peace, love, bye.